Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to do all kind of stuff. So I gave it a title of this video, a very vague name, because we got a lot of stuff to do. I wasn't sure what we were going to get done, what we were going to have time to do. So let's just start out. I want to give you some updates. We now have a lot of issues open. I set up a project, like a Kanban board, within the GitHub repo. Let me switch over, and so I can show you all what I'm talking about. So I started a project here. We have a bunch of cards now with issues. I can make a card quickly, convert it into an issue, and then once that issue I'm not sure, I think once the issue is opened or something, it goes to in progress, and then once it's completed it goes to done automatically, which is kind of cool. So if you haven't used this yet, just click on the projects tab on your GitHub repo, and if you select the automated Kanban board, it sets up a lot of it for you. It gives you some different steps to do. Searching at issues or PR. So we've done some of these, but anyway, I've used this on a previous project before. I thought I'd set it up. So we now have a lot of issues. If you want to, contribute, these are broken down into, most of them are very simple tasks, very small things. So have at it. We may actually fix some of these today. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to move this back over. We don't need it right now. And all right. Hey everybody, I see some highs there in the live chat. Hopefully, let me know if you all got the notification on YouTube, because yesterday I got my notification after I had already ended the stream. So, alright, it looks like I did get a notification on my phone 2 minutes ago. So I didn't get the earlier notification like usually happens. So, anyway, sometimes I think it depends on how late in the day I schedule this. Alright, so on the screen right now we can see, this is basically where we left off at yesterday. And I want to show you some of what I've been working on. Oh, before I forget, I have a new video up on my YouTube channel, so check, I think I have a link in the description to my channel. Check it out. It's my video review of the React Nanodegree program. So I know I said that video was going to be coming months ago, and I finally did it. So it's there. It's short video, less than 10 minutes. Just some of my thoughts on the Nanodegree program, which I've already shared a lot of it with you all in the stream, but now there's a short video where everything's kind of summed up. So if you haven't done the program yet or you're thinking about it, maybe it'll help you make your decision. So what I've been working on, let's go to our Microsoft, there we go, our SQL, I always forget the name of this, SQL Operations Studio, I think that's it. We're going to go to SQL Operations Studio here. I'm going to show you what I've been looking at. So I keep going through, this is our database, just for everybody that hasn't been following since the beginning of this project, just to catch you all up. We have a database right now for the current university website that's a SQL Server database. And we're using a content management system called Electron, which is pretty outdated. The company doesn't even exist anymore. So we want to move all the data out, and we want to automate as much as possible. We want to avoid having to copy and paste things. So we're moving it out. We're not just dumping it all. We're moving it out section by section. We're using the WordPress API to put the data in to a MySQL database. And then users, administrators will be able to edit things through a WordPress admin panel, but we won't really mess that much with WordPress. The site, the public-facing site that users will see, is going to be a React site, and we're going to get the data from GraphQL. So right now, the step that I'm working on is checking out the data, seeing what info we have, and then I'm going to move it all over to WordPress. It's going to be slightly different than the way we've done this with some other pieces of data. So these are all news articles, and they go back for years. I want to bring them all over so we have a nice archive. But what I'd like to do is keep the publish date and make that the publish date for in WordPress. I think that'll be really useful. In fact, I think that's necessary, right? There'll be no context at all for when these things were posted or how relevant they are anymore unless we bring the date over somehow. So the last thing I was trying to do was figure out what format I need the date to be in the WordPress API, and I just had that info up here. So let me move this over so we don't have to go through too many screens. So we can add the date in here. Let's see, context view, edit, embed. String, datetime, ISO 8601. Okay, so what I was thinking might be the easiest way to figure out. So like this ISO 8601, that doesn't mean anything to me right now. I need to see what the date actually looks like. So I'm going to check out the API and see what the API gives us when we want to see a published date. Let me start my Pomodoro timer, and we're going to work on this for 25 minutes, and I'm going to have minimal interaction with the live chat. I'll glance at it occasionally. Then I'm going to take 5 minutes, and I'm just going to go to the live chat, check out your comments, answer any questions. We'll go back and do some more work, and we'll just kind of go back and forth and see how things go. I want to get at least 2 25-minute sessions of work on the project. At the end of that, I'll answer any remaining questions. I'll read out comments. So, whatever questions you might have for me, go ahead and put them in the live chat, and please be patient. I will get to them. All right, so let's go with one faculty. All right, this works. All right, so our date is going to be in this format. This is going to be tricky, a little bit tricky. All right, so here's what we have in terms of a date. And I'm showing all the data here because I just wanted to see what was available. Normally we would want to, instead of an asterisk here for the query, we would want to narrow it down so we didn't have all this stuff. And when we import it, we're not going to import everything. We're just going to import a few things. But we have a date created. We have an edit date. I don't think we have a publish date. Last crawl date. Yeah, we don't have a published date. So I think we're going to have to go with date created. Last edit. 2014. Well, this is kind of odd. This was created in 2014, but it was edited in 2016. That's pretty wild. All right. I think still date created has got to be the way to go. So let's go with that. We'll bring in date created. and we'll set that as the date. So let me see what format. Ooh. I'm not sure about that format there. Is this what we want? 1956.50. Nah, that does not match up. Alright, so we're going to have to do some manipulating of this date created value. The other thing that we're going to have to deal with is this title. So we've been using the titles as the slugs for our posts, and we let's see, we were manipulating that a little bit so that it matched up with the current site. I don't think we're going to be able to match things up with the current site for all of these news articles. I've been looking at some of them, and the URLs don't match with the titles, and they're not here in the database. So I'm not sure where they're stored or how to get those or match them up. So I'm not going to try. We're just going to have to live with that. We're going to break some links. I don't really see any way around that other than having somebody go through all of these and change things, change the slug on WordPress manually. I mean, if I find somebody that wants to do that, then that's okay, but I'm not gonna try. That's just not a good use of our time. You know, we have other things to work on for this site. Let's see. I just glanced at the live chat. David says, remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. All right. Good advice. Good advice. I'm not sure where that came from. Am I coming off as really confident today? I don't know. Let's see. Alright, let's go to where we have our, is this it? There we go. Okay, so we're going to have to change our migrate.js, and let's put this right beside our SQL Operations Studio screen. So here's where we've been importing things. Here's where we put our query. Alright, so I do have date created, and I'm also pulling in the content teaser, and we're going to make this the excerpt for the post. I think it'll be useful to bring in that same excerpt, and then we can try to use that as well if we have, you know, like a small view maybe on the front page of the website before you can click to get the full content. So this query should give us all the info we need. Now we need to change a bit here, right? So right now we're saying name equals post content title. That's because we originally made this when we were bringing over the data for faculty members. Probably be more straightforward just to keep this as title, but for now I'm going to leave it. But here's what we do have that I think we ought to get rid of. In here, we are checking for titles in the slugs. So like doctor, you know, things like that. We didn't want them to keep the URLs the same. We had to get rid of them, but we don't want to do that for here. For one thing, we're not worried about keeping the URLs the same. For another thing, we would actually want those words in these titles. All right, so we're gonna just comment this out for now. And what we still want is to make everything lowercase and to replace spaces with hyphens. Alright, so that should make sense. We'll bring everything over. We will need to add content title. Let's add a excerpt. You know what, let's check out the API documentation and make sure we can add in an excerpt. There we go, excerpt. So we're going to bring in post dot, what do we call that? Content teaser. All right. Content teaser. So the only thing we have left that we do want to bring in is that date. So let's figure out how we can adjust this date properly. Let's look up our date formats. Trying to find MDN. Yeah. Alright, so this is the format that we want. Sorry, I know this is boring on the stream, but I'm gonna have to look at this just a bit. We need this date to work. All right, let's do some testing. All right, so let me just grab a date in this format. Can I copy this? Copy. And let's open up DevTools. And let's do, I don't know. Well, let's make this bigger. And go to console. Let's get rid of this stuff, and let's say let test date equal new date, and let's put that in. Test date. Okay. All right, so we can take this date in, and this date works for the JavaScript date, but this is still not what we want. So let's see about that ISO format. Let's see if we can parse string representation of date returns the number 6. Say title. All right, there we go. Let's go. Let's check this one out. This looks like what we need. new date, right? And event.to ISO string. All right, let's try it out. Where are we at? Oh no. Let's see if we can get that back. There we go. And let's see. Let's ISO date equal test date dot to ISO string, and then ISO date is alright. That looks like what we need. Let's just double check to verify. Yep, that looks like what we need. Alright, cool. So we can manipulate the date to get what we want. So let's take what we've done here and put it into our migrate.js. It's like there's some confusion in the live chat, so let me just take a second to clarify what's going on. Alright, so Peter, welcome back. I did switch to Visual Studio. Everybody kept recommending it. It was fast, so I thought let's try it out. Steven, migrate.js is it's a little bit of Node script, so a little bit of JavaScript that's helping us take data out of one database, kind of convert the data into a format that we want, and then sending that into a different database through WordPress. So that's all we're doing here. We can... Do we have this on GitHub? I'm not sure if I have this repository on GitHub. It was on GitHub originally. I haven't really been syncing things up because we frequently change this. So anyway, but that's all that we're doing here. And Klaus says black screen. So is anybody else having problems with the screen being black? On my end, let's see. Everything is saying it's good on my end, so just let me know. All right, so let's do some work on this date here. So let's say ISO date. Let's see how much we could put in line here. Whoops. ISO date equals post new date, and this is going to be post dot date created. And then we're going to go dot to ISO string. Alright, not sure if that'll all work in line like that, but let's try it out, and then let's I guess let's just try it. Let's try it in the console first, because I don't want to run this and have it transfer over bad data. So let's just grab this, and we can take this date, this test date, and put it in here. And let's change this to ISO date 2. Okay, so that does what we wanted to. It should work. Awesome. Alright, so just to just kind of recap what we're doing. We're taking the date in one format, which is a different format than we need, and we're making a variable here, constant. We're getting that date, and we're making it into, you know, like a JavaScript date. What do you call this? A date object? I don't know what the correct term would be for that, but then we're taking that and we're converting that to ISO string. So it's ISO, I forget already what it was. ISO 8601 format, which is what we need. And then we're going to take that and we're going to add that in as the date. So the date will be ISO date. And I'm going to verify that date is what we want here. So let's check the docs. And it is date. We want a date, and it is a string, ISO format. Great. All right, so everything should work. Let me check my time. All right, 6 minutes. Cool. Klaus, in about 6 minutes, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to go to live chat and explain things. So if you can hold on for a few more minutes, I'll explain everything. Just to give you something for now. This is a project that I'm doing for my job as a front-end developer, and we're just kind of working through it live together. So that's the big picture of what is going on here. Also, welcome. Thanks for watching. All right, so let me give it one look through just to make sure we're doing the right thing. So we're getting content ID, title, the actual content, HTML, date created, content teaser, good, from folder ID 89, and we want to, this data length here, we're saying we don't want content that has no data. Const URL directory. Oh, I'm glad I checked this, right? We don't want this to be in directory. We want it to be in news. And I don't know if we've actually created that custom post type yet. That would have been a huge problem if I had just let that go through. There we go. So who was at the beginning that talked about overconfidence? So David, thank you for bringing up overconfidence, because if I had been overconfident, I would have just hit enter on that thing and ran it, and would have messed things up. All right. So it's so easy, even when you're not live streaming, it's so easy to make a little mistake like that. And I've certainly made plenty of them on the live stream, but you know, also when I'm not streaming, make little mistakes. All right. That looks good now. What we need to do is make a post type that's news. So let's go with, whoops, here's our post type. So this is just a PHP file that is in the proper format to be a WordPress plugin. So we're going to edit this a bit. See what we have. Directories, factories. All right, so let's copy all of that. I want to make sure I only copy what I should be copying. Okay. Let's just copy this and paste it, and then we'll change what we need to make a new news custom post type. So we don't normally use PHP on this stream, but occasionally we do need to use it, mostly just when we're working with WordPress. So first of all, let's just change the word directory everywhere where we find it. Oops, you know what, I don't want to go down that far because I want to keep the uppercase stuff uppercase. So directory, let's say news. Alright, that's fine. It's a little bit awkward to say add new news or something like that, but I'd rather keep it short than say something like news story or news item or something. It's just easier to work with one word. Now we have, I guess the singular and plural for news is the same, right? I mean, it is right. I'm not going crazy. It's just news, whether it's singular or plural. We don't say newses, right? Alright, so let's just say news, and then for directory, we'll say news, and then one more for directories, we'll change it to news. Alright, so just really quickly, what's going on? This part is basically saying how do we want this to appear in the WordPress admin panel. So these are all the labels that a user would see if they were going in to edit the post through that admin panel. Down here is more of how is this going to appear and act, kind of in the back end, in the API with GraphQL, things like that. So that's what we're kind of saying, like, well, what things does this support? And thumbnail, excerpt, editor, title. Yeah, this looks good. We do want to exclude from search, capability type, post, sluggish news. We want to show, this is going to show it in the REST API, but then also it's going to show it in the GraphQL. So we're using a wp-GraphqL plugin that basically lets us use GraphQL with WordPress. That's how we're going to grab it from this news here. Let's save that and let's copy it, and my timer's up. Alright, so my timer's up. So we'll have some suspense now here. When we come back from the 5-minute break, then we will update our plugin and try to pull in all this data. Alright, this is going to be a lot of data we're pulling in at once, so if we mess it up, we have to go in and try to delete it all and redo it. So I'm a little bit nervous about this one. We've double and triple checked everything, so I think it'll be okay. But rather not mess up that much data. So let me take a short break here and go to the live chat and answer some questions. And it looks like we've got a few more viewers here in the last few minutes. So hey everyone, thanks for watching. Feel free to ask any questions in the live chat. Alright, so Claus had asked a few minutes ago for an explanation of what's going on, because it was the first time seeing it. So this is, so to start from the beginning, this is a project that I am doing for work. I'm a front-end developer, and so this is a real-life project we're working on. It's a React. Basically, it's React combined with a WordPress backend. So data is going to be put into WordPress, from the admin panel at some point. Right now, we're kind of doing a programmatic way, but later on, people will be able to edit this site. Then we'll pull that data with GraphQL into our React app, and it'll be displayed there. So we're doing a little bit of everything in this project. Some streams we do like user interface work. Sometimes we're building React components. We're working on pulling in data from our API. Other times, like now, we're working on WordPress plugins, post type, database things. So there's a lot that's going into it. Later on, we'll get into setting up our servers. We're still considering the options in terms of how to set up the servers and what to use. But we're going to have to do all that. So that's the project. That's what we're doing. So today specifically, we're pretty much just working with data. If we get all the data over and we have time, maybe we'll worry about like building out a new React component and maybe like doing some really basic styling of that. And as a follow-up, Klaus says, so WordPress site build with React? Yeah, so kind of. So I would say it's a React site, but we're pulling in data from WordPress, right? So that's going to be one of the places we pull in data. We may end up pulling in data from multiple sources. For now, most of the data is going into WordPress, and that's basically, it's just WordPress is reliable. There's a big community, and a lot of people know how to work with it. It's going to be user-friendly for the people that need to edit the data that don't necessarily know anything about coding. All right, so hopefully that was a decent explanation. You can always go back and check some of the previous streams if you want to know more. I think the first stream I went in more depth into explaining everything. Let's see. Ghost Sniper says, I hate coding and it'll never help me in life, and my school makes me do it. I don't know. I guess it depends, right? If you never use a computer again, I don't know. Maybe it won't help that much. But you know, it does teach some concepts that could be helpful. So school makes you learn a lot of stuff you probably don't want to do. I know it did for me. And there is honestly a lot of stuff that I learned in school that I haven't ever used, and I probably won't ever use. Right? I learned how to square dance in school. I've never square danced before, or I've never square danced after that, ever. So, totally not needed. I took acting classes in school for a couple of years, and I'm not an actor, right? So, I don't know. It is what it is. But, I guess all you can do is control how you react to being able to having to learn how to code. You can control your attitude and how you feel about it. So try to make the best of it. And to be honest, you can make a ton of money coding at some point. So it's not so bad that you're learning it. Let's see. John Hansen. Getting one more question. John Hansen says, anyone having a hard time understanding event.stop propagation in Create React App? I am. Is it a best practice to use it to stop a parent event listener to add this onto all children objects with events? I'm a little bit interested. I'd be interested to maybe see some of the code. So I'm just wondering about using like event stop propagation. Is that the best way to do it in React? I'm not sure. I personally haven't used it in anything with React, so I don't know that I could give a good answer for that. But I would be interested to see if there is maybe a unique React type of way to handle that and do something like that would make things easier. But sorry, John, I just can't. I don't have experience with it, so hope maybe somebody else knows. If anybody that's listening right now or watching knows about stopping event propagation with React, please share your knowledge in the live chat. All right, so I didn't get through all the questions in the live chat, but I will come back to the live chat after we do a bit more with our data. All right. I had to write down what question I left off with so I remember later on. All right, let's restart our timer. And now, all that's left to do is move this into our WordPress installation, our plugin, right? Let's update our plugin, and we'll move that data over. We'll run our node program here, our migrate.js, and see if it works. So where's... I thought I was logged in. I am. I'm logged in here. Alright. So we'll go to our plugins, to our editor, and we can select our custom types plugin that we've created. And now we'll paste it and update the file. Cool. Alright, no weird errors when we did that. And let's, you know what, let's double check. There we are. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we did in fact have news. Let's make sure that we have a title, excerpts, featured image. Wonderful. Alright. So don't really want to add a new one. So once we transfer this data, we should be able to see a ton of news items here, news posts. So let's do that now. Let me make sure I'm on the right network. Okay, I'm on the right network. I can only access the database from one network and right IP address and everything. So I know I talked about making a copy of the database to get around that. I never did it. So still probably a good idea to do. All right. So let's see. It's not. I was hoping it would save it. Let's go. Node.js. Let's see, what did we get? A range error. Alright, let's see what happened. Check this out first. Verify that nothing came through, right? Nothing came through. We have some sort of error here. So let's check it out. Unhandled promise, rejection warning, rejection ID1, range error, invalid time value. Let's see. Alright. The ISO date, your data is a string literal, not the date string. Alright, so my data coming through is not what we want to put in there. Is that correct? Let me see. Oh, I see now, Rook. Thank you, thank you. I can't believe I did that. All right. Thanks for catching that. We even checked. How many times did we check and I still missed it? All right, yeah, so I was trying to pass in a string that said post.date underscore created instead of actually the variable, the value. Thankfully, it didn't actually go through and it was rejected by WordPress, or that could have been a mess. All right, so Rook is the hero of the day. Thank you again. Let's stop this program now and rerun it. Whoa, there we go. It's inserting a lot of posts. I've always been interested in like how many posts I could insert at once. I'm gonna find out now because I think this is the largest block, the largest content type that we will have to bring over. So if this works, I don't have any worries about anything else. Alright, slowing down a little bit. Whoa. Did y'all see that jump? It was frozen for a second and then all of a sudden it just jumped from 400 to 500. Alright, we'll let it do its thing. At one point I had thought about putting a delay, and I don't know if we ever did that, like a delay between attempts to add things. Maybe it finished. It's possible that it finished. 546 rows, 546. It did. All right, cool. It finished. Here I am waiting and nothing because it finished. All right, cool. Let's check it out. So here's the big test. Let's see if it worked. Oh, there we are. Awesome. Very awesome. So we have an excerpt. Weird format, but still. Excerpt. We have the HTML came through. The title. Let's see the slug. I'm really interested to see how the slug came through. Alright, awesome. That looks nice. Scientists gather for the Jubilee. Awesome. Oh, whoa. Alright, we have a little bit of a problem here. Alright, I don't know if you'll see this. It's really small. Let me zoom in a bit. Why is the slug field in WordPress this short? Anyway. Let's go over. Everything looks good until we get here, and there are spaces in the middle of a word, and a hyphen. Why? Why would we have that? Let's see if this is state created. I mean, what do our titles look like? Alright, let's see what we were doing here. So, all we're doing... Where are we at? Post content title. Moving everything to lowercase. And we're replacing spaces That's really odd. I'm going to check just a few other posts just to see if I can find some similarity as to how this happened, because I mean, obviously we can see the title here. Oops. You know, it doesn't look like anything's wrong here with the title. So let's just check a few more items. And let's check installation. Alright, I'm just going through really quickly. I might write a plugin that makes this slug field larger. That's just insane. It really bugs me. You all know I'm pretty easygoing most of the time, but that's like, that's terrible. What, like, that's just a terrible UI. Anyway, all right. I didn't think to check the permalink to see if we had the same problem in the permalink, which I think we would. So let me go back to this one and see. Look at that. So with the permalink, it doesn't have that problem. That's really odd. Let's see. Summer conference sessions. So, and these even have the same word in it. So we still have the same word, conference. None of them have that problem. All right. I'm not going to worry about it right now. But what I do want to double check is these publish dates. Let's make sure. 6th, 7th, 9th. All right, so we do have different dates. Wow, 28 pages. I want to go to the last page. Right, awesome. 2014, new details image, news one. All right, so it did bring in just some kind of nonsense posts. We can clean that up later. I'm not worried about it. But this is really cool. That's really cool. We have all the stuff in. All right, so now we need to display it. Let me check my time. All right, I got 11 minutes. Let's go over to the React side of things and see if we can pull this data in. So we need to make a GraphQL query. We'll have to do another one. I know we did one yesterday. We'll do one today. It shouldn't be too hard. We can probably copy and paste most of what we did yesterday, if not everything. And then we could probably reuse a lot of the same React component that we used yesterday as well, and just change some of the names. So we may be able to do this in 11 minutes. And I see there's some comments in the live chat. Actually, there's some pertinent comments here. Let me get to these. Edward says, it's not supposed to be like this. Did you delete the slug to create it? It's going to populate the field automatically. Let's see. Let me show you where adding the slug in. So I'm adding the slug manually when we update these. So the reason we were doing this, you're actually right. It would have made the slug automatically from the title. That might have been a better way to go. Oh, well, I'm not going to try to redo all that now, but that probably would have been a better way to go. The reason we were adding the slug before is because we did want to manipulate the slug previously to try to make the URLs match up between what we currently have and what we are going to have later. In this case, we didn't need to do that, so I just didn't even think about it. It had just been left in previously. So that's a really good point, though. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll keep that in mind when we pull over more data, that this is not necessary unless we really need to change what the slug will be. And maybe we could avoid some errors. You know, potentially we have an error already in there. Once we get everything worked out, I want to try to type in this in a URL and see what data we can get. I'm interested to see what happens with that. Alright, so let's go to our, where are we at? Server, AppR, and Apollo. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Alright, cool. So we need to go to, let's take this and, oops. Can we just duplicate? No. Alright, let's grab this and make a new query. New file. We'll call it, we're going to call this news.js. We're going to paste in this. We're going to change it to news. News query. We're going to change this to news. Alright, so this should grab our ID, our title, the slug, the content, and do we want, let's grab the excerpt as well, and the date. Alright, yeah, we're gonna grab this. We may not actually need the date. It might already be within the HTML, but just to be safe, we'll grab it. It'll actually be good to have it, because if we want to make a news page and order things chronologically, then it would be, we definitely need a date to make that work. And alright, cool. So we have this. Let's save it. Let's go into our pages. And we're going to let's take our directory and just copy it, and let's make another page. These are really React components, but in terms of NextJS, which we are also using, there are pages. In this case, this acts more like a template for a page. But you'll see how it's all going to work. And we'll also name this news.js. Here we are. And let's change this. Change the word directory everywhere. We'll remember this one. If you remember yesterday, I forgot this part and we had an error. Alright, to news. This is fine for now. This will prove that we're actually getting the data, and then we can see if we want to, display anything else like the date or something like that. All right, let's save that. Now we need to go into our server as well. So let's go into server.js, and let me give you the link to our ngrok server so you all can see it as we're working on it, and you can see the data coming in as well. So if you check that link, sometimes there's weird problems with links, so you might have to copy and paste the link to get it to work, but hopefully you don't. It looks like it's working. So alright, awesome. Sorry I didn't give you that link earlier. We didn't really need it until now because we weren't doing anything directly with the UI for the React site, but in any case, now you'll have it. We're going to take this little block here, and we're just going to copy and paste that, and instead of contact, we're going to say news, and we're going to say news here. Let me explain what's going on here. Let's make this a bit bigger. Alright, so here's what's happening. We're saying that when a user types in a URL that has /news/ whatever at the end, so any value, what we're going to do is we're going to pass that value at the end. We're going to pass that into the component, and the component that we're going to pass it to is going to be the news component. Right? So that's what we want to do. So let's save that, and then in our news component, we're grabbing that, so we get this query ID. We're grabbing that here in this getInitialProps function. This is going to be able to run server-side and client-side. This is a special function that NextJS has, so that's why we're grabbing things here, grabbing the proper data so we can get that nice server-side rendering. We don't really need the console log here. I just had that there for testing. Probably ought to take this out. And let's see. All right. Looks like, oh, okay, so once we grab that ID, what we were trying to get from GraphQL is we're going to use that news query, and we're going to pass it that ID, all right, which is basically the slug from our WordPress post. Then, since we're calling on that news query, let's go up here and check it out. So the news query comes in, and what are we passing in? This name. All right, which is the ID. That's our slug. So it's going to look for a news item where the name is equal to that slug. So that's what it's going, and it's going to return all of this data, ID, title, slug, content, excerpt, and date. It's going to return all of that into this component. Right, so it'll go back to the component of news.js, and then it's going to put that data in here. And Rook, you are on top of things, because Rook noticed that I forgot to change directories here. Thank you again. So you see we're getting that object. So there's now an object available to us. We go data, news, edges, we go 0, right? So the edges is an array, we want the first value, node, content. And that matches up with our news here, right? Edges, node, content, right? Alright, so now we have that here. Let me see. I'm not sure if I need to restart the server or not. Let's do it just to be safe. Or actually, no, entry page news slash whatever. It looks like some of you are trying to look up the news page right now. Entry. All right, so that should restart. And I need to find a slug to try. So let's try one that'll probably work, because it's normal. And then we'll try one, that first one that has some weird stuff going on. Alright, so let's go back here and say news slash. What the heck? What just happened? Did that server come back up? Yeah. Alright. Slash news. Slash. Alright. Hash parser was not a valid GraphQL document node. You may use GraphQL to send another method. Operation into a document. Alright, let's see what's happened. Alright, let's go back to our code. What did it say? There's pages. Alright. So unfortunately we don't have the correct line because it's using the I guess a different version of this. Let's see. My timer just went off. I wanted to see if this would work first. Alright, let me go back and answer some questions now. We'll take 5 minutes, and then we'll go back to it and try to troubleshoot, see what's going on. probably it just messed something up when I was changing things over from news to from directory to news. But we'll see. There might be something wrong with our data. We'll figure that out. For now, let me chat a bit with you all. I'm going to chat for 5 minutes with you. Then I'm going to check and make sure nothing has come through on Slack or my email that I need to handle for work. If everything's good, then we're going to figure this out. Let's see. All right, so John Hansen says, with Next.js, is it then not necessary to install or use React Router? Yeah, you don't need to install or use React Router with Next. So we're basically doing our own custom routing in here. Right, so this is some custom routes. So we're just kind of doing our own thing. I did see a tweet from, I can't remember his name, Guillermo, I think his name is. Anyway, a tweet from, he's like the head of Zeit, which makes Next. I saw a tweet about the next version of Next is going to actually incorporate React Router into it. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. I didn't look into it, but I figure at some point we'll probably be using the newer version, so we'll have to learn it. That would be kind of cool. I think it would be nice to have the same type of routing across everything we're building, since we're using React Router for, our other stuff that we've made with Create React App. Let's see. Dipback says, "Hey Jesse, this is my first FreeCodeCamp live stream. What app are you using for your databases? Is it free? You're doing great. Thanks for doing this. Most appreciated." You're welcome. I appreciate the comment. Yeah, let me show you what we're using for the database. So this is SQL Operations Studio. Let's see if I can get, yeah, SQL Operations Studio from Microsoft. It is entirely free. It's free to download, and it's an Electron app. It's built with JavaScript, HTML. So it's very similar in the way it's built, and even in the UI, to Visual Studio Code. You can see a lot of the, kind of the similarities here. Same icons, same layout, things like that. So that's what we're using. I really like it. I'm not a database person, so I don't have much to compare it to, other than like PHP MyAdmin or whatever it's called, or My PHP Admin. I don't remember what that is, but I like it a lot better than that. All right. And also, thanks for watching, and welcome to the stream. All right, it says, Suraj says, what do you do to select multiple words and update at once in Visual Studio Code? Oh, cool. The multiple cursor thing, I love this. It's so cool. So let's go to query params here, and I highlight what I want to select, and if there's anything else below it that is the same, I just hit Command. I'm on a Mac, so I hit Command D. I assume it would be Control D on Windows, but I'm not sure. And then every time I hit D, it selects something new, and then I can go in here and I can add whatever I want. Backspace. And I could even move the cursor around with the left and right arrow keys. Even I can go down with the down arrow key or up. So really cool and useful. When you don't need the power of a find and replace, and there's just a few things that you need to change, it's faster than find and replace. At least it is for me. So I really like it. I will say though that I'm using the key bindings for the Atom editor, because I switched from Atom to here, so I don't know what the default is for Visual Studio Code. It might be different, so I would check that out. Just check the documentation. It might be different. All right. Coding and Caffeine says, "Hello, it's me. I was wondering if some of you wanted a cup of coffee." I actually do want a cup of coffee. So I've had a lot of caffeine already today. I guess I had a double espresso this morning. I had some G Fuel, and remember G Fuel, you can sponsor me. But had some G Fuel before the stream to help me get kind of pumped up. Otherwise, I seem depressed on the stream. So, but I'd still like more coffee. I'm pretty much always going to say yes to coffee if somebody offers. Let's see. I'm just my timer went up. I'm just checking because I'm almost at the end of the live chat. John said, "Can the slug be generated from another better source, like append a number?" I don't know. I tried to look for something better, but I think the title is the title makes sense to use. I'm gonna go with that. Michael asked, "What is the Visual Studio Code plugin that adds the file size on the import statements?" Let me share a link with you all. So hopefully this works. You may have to copy and paste it because links are weird sometimes in the YouTube live chat. But there's a plugin called the React Food Truck, and it actually just pulls in a lot of other plugins that have to do with React. So that's how I got it initially. If you just want the one plugin, let me look up the name for you. It is Import Cost. So the plugin is called Import Cost. And I can give you the direct link to that as well. So here's the link to that plugin. But really cool though, isn't it? So that you automatically know, what the plugin, and even is different. Like this is 1.1 megabytes and it's in red. So I assume the red means, hey, this is a big plugin. This is a big package that you're bringing in. So it's kind of cool. I haven't really acted on any of that yet, but I imagine if I was really trying to improve things and go in, that would be so helpful to just be able to see right away, like, oh, maybe I don't need to import all of this. All right, let me... All right. Let me know if the stream status is okay. It's telling me that it's bad right now. I'm not sure why, but if the stream starts getting weird, just let me know. I don't really know if I can do anything about it, but I'd still like to know. Let's see. Osuna asked, "Did you make this website mobile responsive?" It's kind of responsive right now. I haven't really checked everything out, but it should be because we're using MaterialUI to handle like our layout and everything. So that's like by default responsive. But like I said, I haven't actually checked it on a phone yet, so I don't know for sure. But we'll do all that as it gets, we get more things built out. All right, let's figure out what the problem is here. So, all right, let's look at server. Let's make sure news ID. We're sending it to news. All right, that's good. That's as it should be. Let's just start at the top and make sure. Oops, there we are. There's the problem. We want to take it from the news directory. I can't believe I remembered this part and forgot this part again. Did the same thing yesterday. All right, let's save that now and try again. Let's refresh. Hey, there we go. Ooh, let's see. This is a bit of a mess. Wow. 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 That looks pretty bad. Don Xavier says the links aren't working that I posted. You may have to just copy and paste the links because when you put a link in the YouTube live chat, YouTube actually redirects you to it, and so it doesn't always work. So I would try that. Try to copy and paste or something. The links work. I just went to them, but just not if you click it inside the live chat. All right. Let me ask you all, do you want me to start styling this right now, or do you think we've had a long enough stream we should save it till tomorrow or some other time? I'll give everybody a minute to respond while I check my work Slack and email, since I forgot to do that. Alright, nothing on Slack that I need to worry about. Let's see. Nothing in my email. Alright. Looks good. Looks like we're good to go. So if you all want me to keep going, I can. I mean, I'm going to keep going regardless because I'm still at work and have to work on it. It's just a matter of whether or not I stream the work that I'm about to do. Let's see. Alright, so I haven't gotten a response at all one way or another about whether I should stream the rest of this. Let's see. We still have over 30 viewers, so looks like there's still some interest. Alright, I'm just going to keep going and do some basic styling then. Alright. I had to change my song really quick. I didn't like the song that was on. Can't possibly do coding without the right music, right? Alright, so let's inspect what we have. See what we can do about it. Alright, so it looks like we have some images. You know what? I did want to test out that other one first. Let me do it before I forget. So we had that weird slug with which one? This one. Let's test it out. That's not it. News. Wait a second. That was the slug that had the problem, right? Maybe it was a different one. No, that was it. That was the one that had the problem. Maybe this one? No. Alright. I don't know what happened, but the problem's not there anymore, so that's good news. I'm going to leave it alone. Alright, so let's check out this image. Let's try https:// sys.edu. That should work. I'm going to put this in a browser on my other screen, see if anything comes up. It's not there anymore. All right. Oh well, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to get the images. So for now, I need to hide the image. I'm not going to worry about the images now. I'll need to find these at some point and figure out what to do with them. But let's see. What is this? We should add the title in here. We already have the date. What is all this stuff? Why do we have the same thing repeated? News summary and related news summary. Alright, we need to get rid of these. Alright, so let's do some work on getting rid of, let's get rid of everything we don't want first before we try to style or add anything. It'll probably look a little easier if we bring the content down first, the amount of content. So let's check this out. Let me look back as well at what we did with this faculty, because we did do a lot of this type of work with the faculty. We did some manipulation here of the markup, which we may want to do that as well. Let's see. I mean, the easiest thing would be probably just to do some CSS and hide it with CSS right now. So let's actually get this CSS page, and I'm probably will come up with a better way to do CSS, but at this point, you know, this is how I'm going to do it. Styles, where am I putting my styles? Oh, okay, I'm bringing it in with this. Static styles faculty. All right. Oops, and I forgot to set my timer again. Let me do that. Alright, so I'm going to copy what I have here and paste it as a start. I realize that this is not the way we want to do it completely, so maybe I'll make an issue about figuring out what we're going to do with CSS and then stick with it. I didn't really want to decide till we started importing more things and seeing like what we were working with, how much CSS would we want to reuse, how much would be unique. So we'll get a better idea now that we have, you know, several different content types imported now. Alright, so I'm going to copy that and I'm going to make another CSS file, and a new file, we're going to call it news.css. And then obviously too, I'd much rather be doing Sass than CSS. This is what we have for now. And then let's go back to that faculty page. And let's copy this portion here and use it in our news page. Did we have it in layout? Let's see. We did. And we also need to bring this in. And we had brought in grid as well. I'm not going to bring that in yet though, because I'm not even sure if that worked for us before. And where are we at? So much stuff going on. Let's get rid of some of this. Oh, don't want to save. Alright, let's wait. Let's hold off on that. NextJS queries, directories, posts, test, app bar. There we are. News. We don't need that or that. That or that or that. Alright, that's a lot more simple. There we are. And we want to change this to be news. Alright, great. So let's see what we have now just by bringing that CSS in. I imagine we'll have, you know, some impact on how this looks. Alright, not bad. Already, it's better. Not 100%, but better for sure. Nice, nice. I like that. Sweet. Hey, wait a second. Hey, this article links to the website that we built together, the catechetics.com site. So that's pretty fun. All right. Let's add some things in here to get rid of a lot of this stuff at the top that we don't really need, and then we'll probably add in a title after that. Oops, I moved it over here. Alright, so let's check our CSS page, and we need to check the names again. Yeah, let's check the names. News summary. I wonder if we can just get rid of this whole thing. This whole first part. Why is the title not showing up at all? That's weird. But it's okay. Roots. Yeah, let's just get rid of root. That'll solve all our problems. Awesome. We'll get rid of root. At some point we'll have to figure out what to do about the image. Yeah, I'm not sure. But for now we'll get rid of root. that'll save us a lot of time of trying to pick through what we want and don't want. And then we'll add in a title on our own instead of getting that title to show up that we saw in the markup. So let's go up here, there we are. Let's go root. We're going to do a display none on that component that was called root. We're also going to get rid of some of these that I know we don't need. So we don't need a name or a phone. Columns, that's fine. I don't know if we have a right column or center column. We'll have to double check that. Heading H6. Let's do details type. Most of these we probably don't have. I wonder though if any of these would end up having a video embed, so I'm going to leave that in for now. Alright, so most of it we're going to keep. And alright, so let's see, verify that this actually is going to remove what we want. Great, it removed it. Now let's add in a title. So we're going to go with let's see, typography. And then, are we bringing typography in? No, we're not. We need to bring in typography. What are we bringing in? We're not bringing in anything from MaterialUI? Wow. Did we bring it in here? No. Wow. We definitely brought it in for our index. So let's check that. Typography. So always better to try to copy and paste from somewhere that we know it works, right? And so we're bringing that in. And I also want to check what the name of, alright, display 2, subheading, display 2, what did we use? Headline, component H2. Is that what we used? And did that work? Yeah, let's try it out. Typography type headline, component H2. We'll try it. We have an H2. Really, it probably should be an H3. But we'll see. Actually, let's do it like this. Let's go. Dangerously set, enter HTML. HTML. I'll explain in a second why I want to do it this way. Edges 0. Node title. Is it title or is it name? Let's check. It's title. Why do we have a problem here? Alright, what am I missing? Oh, something, I guess there's something wrong with the video. Let's see what's going on. Alright, this is weird. So, OBS says that everything's fine, but YouTube's admin panel says the stream status is bad for resolution. Alright, I'm not sure what's happening. Everybody let me know, everybody who can in the live chat, let me know if the stream is okay or if it's bad. If the quality's going bad, I might just end the stream because I don't want there to be a bunch of, you know, bad quality at the end of the video. Alright, so that's really weird. So this shows up, it's fine, but I'm getting a weird error here. That's pretty weird. Alright, let's copy and paste this. I'm still getting something. That's weird. Alright. Well, it looks like the video then is no good. So, actually, I think I'm going to stop here. I mean, if you look at it, this doesn't look bad, right? So you all can't see, but basically, if you can't see what's going on, let me explain. Everything looks fine. We've removed a lot of what we wanted to remove. We now have a proper title. It needs aligned better with the rest of the content. The only thing that I would add at this point is a date. So I would add the date somewhere in here, probably at the top. And that's really about it. Maybe I would change the link color, possibly make the font size a bit bigger. But that's it. So, all right. So let me wrap things up then. I'm going to check the live chat quickly to see if there are any comments that I should respond to, since it doesn't really matter if I have video for that. Let's see. Let's see. John Hansen says, my son challenged me to build a React component. Ever play with a toy called Lightbright? It uses touch and mouse events. Give it a try. No way. John, did you build Lightbright in React? I've got to check this out. I wish my video wasn't frozen. I would show everybody what you made. Well, I'll try to show everybody anyway. If the video comes back in, I guess they can see it. Hopefully this URL works. you know how it is sometimes with the YouTube stuff. Even if you put it in like this, sometimes it still doesn't work. Yes. Oh, wow. John, this is amazing. Alright, you all probably can't see this light bright thing, but you have to check it out. I'm going to paste the URL in the chat as well. Wow. Wow, this is so cool. I'm showing my kids when I get home. I want to bring this up on my my Chromebook as touchscreen. This would be so cool with just to be able to touch it. Wow, John, amazing, amazing work. That's the coolest thing I've seen in a while. Wow, that's awesome. I love it when stuff like this happens on the stream. You all are like so creative, and I love it when you share stuff like that. Rick Adams says, just read a LinkedIn PM for a front-end function for Monday. Given my focus is more on back-end, which qualitative suggestion front-end design video tours are recommended? For front-end stuff, I mean, you could check out some of the videos here on the freeCodeCamp channel. It's on a lot of different topics, so just kind of sift through some of them. There's a YouTube channel called DevTips, DEVTIPS, and the videos are kind of older, but a lot of really good stuff about, you know, front-end work. So check that out. I'm trying to think what else I would go with. Udacity has some front-end courses that are free, and there's a lot of video content in those courses, so you could check that out as well. Let's see. Alright, World says, does GraphQL let you query any random website, or does that website need to have GraphQL already configured? That website needs to have GraphQL already configured. Think of it like a REST API, right? Someone would have to build the REST API for you to be able to use it. It's the same thing with GraphQL. They would have to build the GraphQL API. Is that safe to call it a GraphQL API? Well, it functions like that, right? I mean, I know it's graph query language. Anyway, someone would have to build that out, just like they would a REST API. That's a good question, though. The video came back. Oh, cool. John said to drag my mouse on the board. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, man. John, is it cool if I share this with a bunch of people? Because this is really, I mean, I would definitely give you all the credit, but this is awesome. I used to love Lightbright when I was a kid. This is really cool. All right, Mandela says you need to restart the stream. If it happens next time, YouTube can give me 1,000 for consult fee. Yeah, I'll maybe I should have just restarted. right away. I will remember that for next time. All right. Let me, now that the video's back, let me switch back quickly to here. This is what I was talking about, right? We have all our paragraphs here. It's the right font. I think it needs to be a bit bigger, like font size. But same way with the title. Title needs to be a bit bigger, and it needs to be aligned properly. But like I said, it's not bad. Looks good. Just needs, the only thing I would add would be the date. But not bad at all. At some point it might be cool to include categories and people could click and sort by categories, but I'm not worried about that right now. That would be additional functionality that we could add in once that data did get entered. Alright, cool. This will be fun. I think I might share this. My boss has been really busy with some other stuff, so he still hasn't had a chance to review any of the work we've done so far. So I'm gonna let him handle his stuff, and whenever things calm down a bit, then maybe I'll show this to him. But maybe I'll share it with some of my other coworkers so I can get some early feedback, and see if everyone thinks we're going in the right direction. All right, awesome. So I'm going to wrap things up now. It's been a longer than normal stream, but really fun. We've gotten a lot done. We didn't mess things up. I messed them up a little bit, but they were really easy errors to overcome. And we got a ton of data imported into WordPress, like over 500, records, right? So we have over 500 posts under the news post type. And when we started, that post type didn't even exist in our WordPress install. So not only did we get a new post type and all the data in, but now we're actually displaying it properly with the proper parameterized routing. All the info's there. Needs a bit of work on the styling, but overall, I'm really happy with today's stream. Cool. Good work, everyone. And thank you so much, everybody, for your help, especially Rook for catching 2 of my mistakes and saving me a lot of time. And thanks, John, for sharing your Lightbright app. That's amazing. I'm going to be sharing it with other people as well. And thanks, everyone else, too, that was in the live chat. And if you're watching later on, you couldn't participate in the live chat, but you have questions, please put them in the comments for the video, or you can message me on Twitter. My DMs are open. You could message me there, or any other social media that you like to use. I'm on pretty much everything. Let's see. Oh, and don't forget to check out my new video on my channel about my Udacity React Nanodegree experience. So I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.